Well, hello everybody. How is it going today? I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. We are back for another stream. Don't mind me and my big old water bottle. Paint Liquor, how's it going? Big Bobzilla, what is going on? We are going to continue to paint. Or I say continue, we're going to finish painting Dooku. And then I have a couple of other models up for selection, depending on what you guys want to paint next. And yeah, I'm stoked. Let's get on into it. Hope everyone's having a great day. We got this guy to this level yesterday in about 2 hours and change, give or take. We had to prime him and everything when we started, so I feel like a lot of progress has been done. What's this we thing? Yeah, always the royal we, Mo. Always with the royal we. How's it going, T. Schmidt? Mo, I hope you're having a great day. Zoom on this guy. We're gonna paint his paints. But first, need a fresh palette paper because I'm a silly goof. And forgot to put it on before I started streaming. I'm gonna drop this down a little bit so we can get the palette cam on there. We're gonna have to zoom out this palette cam a little bit because it is like really only hitting like half of my palette, if not less. Alright. Pants. I was gonna go with a little bit of coal black and black brown for the pantalones. Where did I put the black brown? I had it out just a moment ago. Right here. Black brown. All right. Got the start of your new army built last night. Getting stupid hyped for 10th edition. Nice. What army are you doing for 10th edition, T. Schmidt? We're using this black base coat to our advantage here by just layering up above it and using that black undercoat for... Oh, whoa, I'm way off camera. And using the black base coat for the shadow for the pantaloons. So we're just focusing on hitting the most of the volumes, but we're leaving the dark parts of the folds in that black. Because we do want these pants to be pretty dark. You can see that brown coming through right there. Dude, Imperial Knights? Nice. 4 armigers. A lot. Let's see here. We're going to apply a little bit of this black brown. So our first mix was coal black and black brown over the black base coat. And now I'm going with the black brown right over it. And we're being careful not to leave a little bit of that first highlight there And then we're just hitting it with this next layer of highlight there. And then in this leg back here, we're mostly just going to hit this crease in the raised edges because this leg is mostly going to be in shadow. So we don't want to accentuate it too much beyond what it's naturally getting. That looks nice already. Nice and subtle. We're going to probably do one more stage of highlight on this. Yeah, Jason and Jen are doing the move thing. Been very, very busy. Do not envy you guys for having to do the move. At least you don't have to like move everything into the new house or out of the old house. Having movers helps a lot. I'm gonna clean my brush really quick because this thing is in need of a little bit of love. But brush care is important, folks. So we're gonna take a moment and we're gonna take care of them. Give them the TLC that they deserve. You know, unpacking is not the worst thing for me. I don't like schlepping things in and out of my house. That's the biggest thing for me that drives me nuts. But I'm also just like super lazy. So, you know, that doesn't help. Brush is feeling a lot better. Point still on that guy. This guy. Nice. Solid. You know you're a real adult when you buy movers. Yeah, I told myself, T. Schmidt, after this mower current, when I moved to jeez, I can't talk today, chat. When I moved from Washington to Arizona, I told myself the next time I move, I am not, I repeat, not gonna do it without hiring movers. I don't have enough stuff for it to be really expensive anyways, and my goodness, is it just gonna save me a ton of headache. Fresh water cup. Fresh brushes. It's one of the things that's really important when you're doing like fine detail work and you're really trying to paint nice nice models. Having a good, really nice sharp brush, nice clean brushes, always is super duper important when you're doing that. Giving this a little bit of a massage here. Try and loosen up some of that gunk that's in there. Give it the good old massage. Yeah, Mo, when I unpacked when I moved here, it really wasn't that bad. it didn't even take that long too, which I was kind of surprised about. Granted, I still have stuff that's like unpacked, but that's mostly because I don't really have a place to put it. Shavenger, no, this is a brush that I've had here for some time. Just taking care of it, giving it the good old soap up before we dig into some fancy painting for today. All right, we're back. Now, for highlight color for these pants, I really like the color that we've got going on. I feel like it just needs a little bit of a lift. Let's look at some dark umber. I think will be the right next stage. That might be a little dark. Maybe we do a little bit of a mix with just a touch of light umber with black brown. I promise you, we are not hoarding brushes. We want to have them in your hands as much as you guys want to have them in your hands. Believe me. We're doing our best to get those things in stock. And we're just making this really thin, and we're almost glazing this over the highlight areas. Broad part of the pant here. And one of the things that I always try and focus on when I'm working on models like this is that we make sure that the brightest part of the model is at the top and the darkest part of the model is at the bottom. Now I know we're doing this a little contrary because we have some brighter points of highlight here. This is where having super reflective things will kind of break that overall concept. But the idea is the head is closer to the point of light, so it's going to be brighter than the feet are. So the bulk of the feet should be darker, just like the pants should be darker than this part of the jacket and darker than this part of the jacket. That's why we don't have this highlight on this part of the jacket here, or the tunic. So we're just working our way, making sure that the lighting is consistent and that it makes sense. We're adding just a little bit more of that light umber to the black brown because it just needed a little bit more. We're just hitting the edge here, down here, along the crease, and then on the inside of the leg here. And that should be just enough to make it look real nice. We're going to do just a touch here along the crease. This man irons his pants before going out and doing silly Sith things. He's got a nice solid crease in his pants. You gotta make sure that shows up. Alright, I like that. We might go back and add a touch to that, but I think we're looking good. Paint Liquor, I do not sit on a throne made of unused brushes, I promise. Nicholas, pluck some chest hair and make some? No. I don't want that. You don't want that. How's it going, Source? Katarina, solo run today. Yeah, Jason is at home packing stuff, preparing for the move. So he should be back within a couple of days once that all kind of gets settled down. But I know they're focusing on getting everything all sorted. So Christopher Lee, you bet he creases whatever he wants. That is true. What a fantastic actor this guy is. Alright. Let's paint some skin. Let's do it. Alright, so we are gonna start with where is dark flesh, shadow flesh. We're gonna build this up to hand flesh. We're also going to need a touch of burnt red, a touch of yellow ochre. That sorted out. Putting some of this on my palette real quick. You guys can see it. So we really only have to paint hands and his face, because the rest of him is pretty well covered up. Dark flash here for our deep, deep, deep shadows. Let's do it. So we're going to start with some dark flesh, some shadow flesh, and a touch of yellow ochre for this base coat. And we're going to work pretty thin with this, because I want to make sure that we get all the detail that's sculpted into the face, and I don't want to lay in too much too much paint in there. Let me see if I can punch this in. Actually, I don't know if I'll be able to. Let me mess around with this for a second. Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Okay, so it only works on the two-sided cam. We'll have to sort that out later. I'll do my best, chat. I will do my best. Prepare for stream crash. And the nice thing when you're working with really transparent layers on skin tones is you can leave those darker areas where the coverage isn't as good as your shadows. So you can build up the opacity with your layers without having to adjust the colors a lot, which is really nice to be able to get you a nice skin tone. It also makes it real easy. We're going to paint the whole face, even the eyes. Let's get the hands sorted. How's everybody's Tuesday going? I hope that it's been chill so far. Nothing untoward is happening, I hope. I myself have had a relatively busy day. Prepping for stream. Got a bunch of stuff done for work. Recorded a couple of videos. Pretty good. I can't, if I don't say so myself. Probably should have painted this silver for his lightsaber first. Because I'm a goober and didn't think about it. But that's okay. Because we're professionals here and we can fix those problems ourselves. Turns out, doing this professionally does not preclude you from making goofball mistakes. Just means that when those goofball mistakes happen, you know how to fix them. On the inside of this palm. What's a goober? I don't need to explain to you what a goober is. Come on now, source. Back side of his neck here. His ear. We are going to do one more pass with this color, leaving some of the darker areas exposed still. Just hitting the larger, maybe 60% of the total volume. Darth Tyrannus is his name. He is tyrannical, except he's like not that bad of a Sith. I don't know. Maybe he is. He wasn't too bad in the movies, but I know in the Clone Wars he's a bit more of a not so awesome dude. He is still a bad guy, of course. Can't be forgetting that. Alright, just adding a little bit of shadow flesh. Let me scoot this over so you guys can see it. Plus a little bit of that yellow ochre. This will be our highlight layer. Some of that darker color in there. We're going to start defining wrinkles. He's an old man. Got wrinkles on his head. Top of the hand here. We want to build up this gradient nice and subtly from highlight color to highlight color. And a little bit of highlight to cheekbone there. He's definitely got some bags under his eyes. We want to make sure we get those in there as well. All right. That's looking pretty good. Paint these hands. Same way. And again, this is shadow flesh plus a little bit of yellow ochre and just a touch of dark flesh. Those are not the jades you were looking for. Arctic Mini Painting Studio, welcome back. Thank you for the sub. Here, we got anybody else new here in here? Xenophonetic, how's it going? His skin is currently Trump orange. No, this is just base coats. We're working up through all this the base coats, building a really nice saturated base coat so that our highlights don't end up looking really flat and desaturated, because we want him to have life to his skin. So in doing so, I like to build up layers of warm saturated colors underneath so that the highlights don't look super out of whack. It just means that in some stages of it, it's going to look kind of weird, like what we got right now. So never fear. We're putting on our second pass right now. Painting the bottom of that lip. I'm going to repaint the earlobe here. And hit the back of his neck too. That color to come through for sure. Let's see here. Arctic Mini Painting Studio. So my daughter picked both the Nova Cat and the colors for the thing for last month's challenge. So hard to figure that out. The Nova Cat. Was that the like robot? No, that was Line Creatives. The Nova Cat? I'm not familiar with that. Finally made it back. Welcome back. Oh, it's a Battletech. Okay. Woo! Remember, I'm not super versed in the names of all the Battletech things, so my apologies there. Our resident knowledge guy is currently indisposed. No, that's okay. Alright, so we're adding a little bit of this tan flesh. Now that we're going for some highlight colors, we're keeping it real thin still. Start with the bags underneath his eyes. Hit earlobe right there. And I didn't add much to this, so this didn't take much to jump up in brightness. We're going to start really pulling in these wrinkles on his forehead. Getting another mix. Very warm outside, so it is drying pretty fast on me. So I'm working through, trying to work through at a reasonable pace. Nice, comfortable position here. Hit the bridge of the nose. Side of his nose. Yeah, it really takes time. Slayer Street. It's one of those things that I've learned that you can make a face look really good, but it does take a lot of time to build up really nice smooth transitions. Otherwise, when you don't have that solid foundation, that's when you start to get the really weird muddy looking skin tones, which we're not looking for. I'm gonna hit the top of this hand. I think the other thing that helps Slayer Street is having like a go-to recipe for your skin. One that you know works really nicely, that you don't have to think too much about the colors or the mixes that you're doing. So that when you build it up, you're just putting the color in the right spots, putting the light, the highlights in the right spots, and you don't have to do anything wacky to make everything work. Going a little darker for the palm of this hand because it's going to be under shadow. Gonna hit this earlobe here, this part of the back of the neck, which I missed before. Shadows in there. Yep. Yeah, recipe that works. And then the nice thing is, when you have a recipe that works, you can always tweak it a little bit to fit whatever your needs are. So if you're like, I need to have somebody who has olive skin, like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do some glazes of this other color to make it look a little bit more olive. I'll include a little bit more green, right? You don't necessarily have to have a completely different recipe for it. The ones where you have to be a little more careful is with the darker skin tones. It's because of how light interacts with the skin, it can be very difficult to get it all to look very natural. So you want to make sure that you use a lot of reference when doing that to make sure that you get a really believable skin tone. John, that's a great question. It depends on your preferences. Um, I still have go-to colors and go-to recipes, but generally speaking, with my larger scale stuff, like the 75 millimeter miniature or sculptures or busts, that sort of stuff, I have a tendency to like to kind of figure out on my own, and have every piece be its own individual recipe. But there's definitely nothing wrong with having some consistency and then changing it up when you feel like it. That's just my personal preference when I do that stuff. Ugh. All right, so I went too bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some burnt red and some yellow ochre to create this kind of peachy color. And I'm going to glaze this over parts of the face. I'm going to thin it down a bunch. How's it going, Punisher? And part of this too is it's really hard to get a sense of the skin tone when all the rest of his face is still this huge beard. So what I might do is I might take some gray and base coat his beard real quick. Because that's one of the things that when you have a beard and you have a little bit of color that kind of juts over the yeah, see that already looks way better. Because what'll happen is some of those darker colors will still remain because they're not parts that you want to actually paint. But they end up making it the model look a little weird. And you'll notice, I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's little hash marks. I'm doing like little texture lines like this on the hair as it goes into the hairline. And the reason I'm going to do that is so that when you have the skin tone get glazed back over it and you go with your brighter color, you'll get a nice layer of like transparency, and it'll look like it's fading into the hairline. Grab the gray. I'm actually going to paint the gray on some of these metal pieces as well, just so that I can get that out of the way. Kill two birds with one stone, as it were. chains. Clasps. Yeah, good strat for not having a wig effect. Yeah, I really like to do that because when you do those hard lines for a hairline transition, especially with somebody who has their hair like slicked back like this, it's really, 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 really difficult to get it to look like it belongs that way and looks natural. And you can also do that feathering in with your lighter colors too as you go in to do your highlight colors on the hair. And I like to paint hair with a lot of texture anyways, so I use a lot of the kind of kind of motions when I paint hair. Build-A-Man, how's it going? 48 months, holy cow. Welcome back. Good to see you in chat. Hope you're having a wonderful day. For the hairline modes, yeah, I did. For the areas where I could. I might even have her here to show you guys. And for the record, I do the same thing with the beard. Because it is functionally the same as hair. So you can see this nice bit of texture on the beard. Unfortunately, while we do have hybrid standing sitting desks, A, there's not a chair, and B, our desks are kind of just the studio desks are permanently set up really to be in a standing position, which is fine. So it's not a big deal. I get used to it. You know what I might do? I might try. It'd be a little awkward because there's nobody painting on the other side. And you guys will have to tell me if this helps or not. Since I'm working on some fine detail stuff right now. But I'm going to go switch it back over to two-person setup so that I can punch in. So you guys can hopefully see what I'm doing on the face a little bit better. Give me 1 second. We're going to switch back to two-painter. And then we're going to punch me in. Nope, that's not me. That's me. Okay. Let's see if this is any better. Oh yeah, that's way better. That is way, way, way better. You guys can actually see his face now. Man, do we need to get that set up for solo painting. Oh, sorry, Wild. So the reason that I say Wildeman is because if you were to pronounce that in German, which is the way that it looks like it's spelt, it would be Wildeman. So I thought it was just a German spelling of it. So yeah, sorry, Wildman. My apologies. Definitely was not saying it different on purpose, I promise. Oh yeah, I was gonna grab the Morgan. Kind of hard to tell. I didn't do too much on her hair here. See if I can get it nice and zoomed in. But her hair is really bright up there, and a lot of her hair doesn't completely pull up. I did do a little bit of like extra hash marking down here. But what we want to do is we want to turn that face into that face. We got a little bit of ways to go, chat. Ooh, we grab the warm flush. So we're going to do shadow flesh plus a little bit of burnt red. And we're going to thin this down. Now that we have some of this beard lined in, we're going to glaze this into the shadowed areas. So we can start creating a little bit more of that dynamic color. Adds a lot more dimension there. And we're going to do it on this side as well. Back of the neck. So you want to hit all those areas where the blood vessels, where the skin is really thin, like the temples, in the inner parts of the eye, the neck right down here is a really good example as well. Really gives you that nice dynamic contrast on skin tones like this. So I like to kind of build it up and then bring it back down. Thank you, Paint Liquor. I am definitely really enjoying these models. See, that was too much on the head. We want to bring that back a little bit. Get some of that tan, shadow flesh, and a little bit of yellow. Is this a single piece or the cape separate? The cape is separate. However, it is not designed to be a part, if that makes sense. So while the cape is in fact a separate piece that you assemble onto the model, it is not meant to be a separate part. Underneath the bottom lip here. Alright, we're going to create a nice glaze of this warm flesh. Mix a little bit of tan flesh into it. And we're gonna hit the top part of the head with it. Oh no, yeah, if you actually look at the underside here, that part not very much painted. That part not very painted. These edges though, heck yeah. Alright, so that was definitely too big of a jump. We got to go back to the tan flesh mix and we got to build that up a little bit more. I hope you guys can see kind of the trial and error that I go through when painting skin, because it's difficult to make skin look really good. A lot of back and forth with making sure that the colors all go together nicely and that you get your brightness right. That it doesn't feel like it's too much. Hitting the nose again. We're gonna go back and we're gonna hit the earlobes one more time. Make sure that that's all nice and bright. We're gonna do a little light glaze. Oops, sorry. A little light glaze over here again. Just to tie these edges together and smooth this out. I'm gonna hit the ear with that too. Your ears are typically gonna be redder than a lot of the other parts of your body. Hey, look, I do not. Nobody's perfect, and I like to show you guys when I mess up because it shows that it happens to everyone. I'm not perfect, and I make tons of mistakes on models. And I think in my experience, a lot of people who I've talked to learning to paint really kind of get worked up and worried over mistakes that they make. And at the end of the day, it's all just paint. You can always fix it later, right? You can add a little bit more paint. If you really need to, you can always take some away. If you need to strip a model and bring it back down. But very rarely will that need to happen. But yeah, don't beat yourself up over the little mistakes, right? Even big mistakes. Use it as a learning opportunity so that the next time it happens, you're a lot more comfortable and you can walk into that situation knowing exactly how to move forward. Jason blames off every mistake as if it was intentional. I mean, yeah, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I like to teach in a different way, which is okay. Yeah, happy little accidents is fine. I think it's always good to show the mix-ups. Because the other thing too is that you guys can also learn from mistakes that I make. So you guys don't encounter them. I'm still learning. We're all still learning here. Yeah, that face is looking great. I'm happy with it. Do one final pass highlight. We're gonna hit the top part of this head. We're moving it back on the camera. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to do non-metallic metal on the chain for the cloak. Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be super fancy, but we are doing non-metallic metal on these models, for sure. I think it'll just look a lot nicer when we do it that way. Grab our bright neutral gray. There we go. For the hair. Probably going to go for a 50-50 mix with the regular neutral gray. Maybe a little bit more. I think we can push that contrast a little bit more. All right. Up in on this mustache. Boop, 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 boop. B2s don't come with Dooku. He comes with the Magna Guard. Oop. Comes with these guys. So these are one of the other options that we have for painting today. Once Dooku's done here in a little bit. Yeah, Grievous comes with the B2s. Which I am very excited for. Those will be super fun. Alright. Trying to adjust the grip to get in here. His beard on the other side of his face. Kind of a tight angle to get in there. Yeah, you know, it's funny, Mo, because I know nothing about the game. I bought into the game sight unseen for a couple reasons. One, I'm friends with a lot of the developers, so I like to support it. But also, I thought the models looked really, really good. And so I was compelled to paint them. And so I picked up a bunch of stuff. We're gonna try the game out this Friday during game night. Hopefully that'll be really fun. I'm sure the game will be good. But I would definitely say I'm looking forward to the painting aspect of it more than the gaming aspect of it right now. And the nice thing is there's few enough models that I can really spend a bunch of time painting up really nice looking versions of these guys in just a couple of hours, which is nice. Games played poorly. How many models do you need to play a game of Shatterpoint? I believe it is 8 per side. I believe that is in fact the case. Other people in here who may or may not be actively playing the game might know better than I. Is anybody in here actually playing? Playing the game? Yeah, T. Schmidt, I am familiar with the line of sight in this game. It's kind of like in MCP, the idea is like it's basically impossible to not have line of sight to something. It's very, very difficult to not have that happen. So I'm just applying, this is pure bright neutral gray at this point. And we're still doing these little hash marks through the hairline to blend that hairline together with the skin so it doesn't look unnatural. Paint liquor, you never know. They might come out with them. Especially considering, you know, what we might start seeing going forward in the franchise. You know, they've been very quick to turn around new characters into model form. So I expect that, you know, if new characters in TV shows or movies come out, then we'd probably be pretty quick to see those come to Shatterpoint or Legion or what have you. And one of the things you're going to notice I'm doing here as well is I'm painting the inside of the hair. So I'm leaving, oh shoot. Oopsies, gotta fix that. Wipe it away. A little bit of an oopsie. I've now Googled what a goober is. I'm not sure that I want to know, source. I'm not sure. like that. I'm going to go one step higher, and we're just going to do some really bright I don't. We might actually just bring this down with a little bit of color. Where's our dark gray blue? So we're gonna take a little bit of a glaze of dark gray blue, and we're gonna push this into the shadowy areas of the beard and the hair. Thank you for the follow, Monkey Tree. Very subtle glazes here. Go back. Highlight here. We're gonna do one more layer. Sorry. One more layer of highlights on here. Whew. All right. Looking real good. Now we're going to take some titanium. We're going to punch it. This is our focal point. We are going to bring this touch of the bright neutral gray and titanium. Go nice and thin. And we're going to punch this. And the goal with this is to push that sheen into the beard and the hair. Oh, sorry. Gotta move forward in here. There we go. I like it. We're going to touch those ears again. All we gotta do is eyebrows. I forgot about that. Let's go with our mix of bright neutral gray and neutral gray. It's pretty big, Dower. It is. They are very large models. Like, there's a head size difference between the two. Like, pretty substantial. Oh no, yeah, Mo, they are definitely larger. Here, let me punch out really quick so you can see. So if I zoom out, we've got Mando. This is not Mando. This is Django, right? Looks like an MCP size model. That's an MCP model. These are the droids. They are quite a bit larger. I mean, even this, right? You can get a sense of the scale, how much bigger Dooku is. But that's the interesting thing, right? Is Dooku is larger, but he's skinnier, which is what true scale is going to do to your miniature. Because true scale means everything is in proportion, whereas, you know, this guy's legs are gigantic. This guy does leg day every day of his life. It's huge. Which works in heroic scale works for comic book minis because they are comic books, right? But I really like this much more true scale for. And now these might be a little large, but they're pretty on point. Yeah, walking harder, I agree. The scaling for miniatures is very odd. Yeah, I'm not sure why they went that route either, Mo. But I'm glad they did. You know, I'm not sure what size these bases are. They might be 40 mils. In fact, I think they are. They might be like a shy under. They might be like 38s, potentially. Or 42s even. Because I think these, which are the MCP bases that are bigger, I want to say these are 50s. But I'm not sure. All right, let's punch back in. Whoop, wrong one. There we go. All right, we got to paint eyes too, chat. Which I'm going to actually do really quick. I'm going to take my really small 0. And take some coal black plus a little bit of black brown. I'm going to get in here. And we're going to lay in that eye socket really quick. Whoop. And we're going to do this other side. Let's see here. Source, Baby J, do you ever use contrast colors or make your own contrast-like stuff with glaze medium? I use transparency and glaze medium. Yeah. Yeah, the lightsabers are a little bit on the fragile side for sure. You definitely want to be careful with them. I tend to be pretty careful when I handle my minis anyways, so I don't worry about it too much, but I can definitely understand how it would be worrisome. Absolutely. All right, to paint the eyes, we are going to take some warm flesh and a touch of titanium. And we're going to lay in a couple of eyeballs here. Oop. Already dried on my brush, so I got to go back. Do another mix. All right, here we go. Oh, God, dried again. Oh. All right. So one of the things that I do when I'm painting eyes is I will actually hold my breath to stop my hand from shaking, because even the little minor shaking can really mess you up. I should actually be using a little bit of glaze medium for this. It'll probably help a little bit. Mix that in. Get this second eye done. Alright. I goofed up this other eye just a touch, which is not a big deal. We can go back in. We can clean it up. It's just this back corner. What's a better Blood Angel scheme? Old fashioned Fist in Red Scarlet Wild Rider? I mean, I'm a little biased, but Monument Hobbies. Bold Red buildup. I think you're going to get way better coverage from the bold pyro red than you're going to get with any of the Mephiston or the red scarlet or any of that stuff. It's going to be a lot easier for you too. Thank you for the follow, Human Dave. Hope you're enjoying the stream so far. just getting these eyes in there and making them look good. Give them a little bit of a glaze. Some burnt red. And yellow ochre. Especially in the corners, we want to add this in. This adds a little bit more of that kind of redness that you're going to naturally have in your eyes. I'm going to lay that in kind of like a wash, and I'm going to pull it away. And you'll notice that that kind of kills a lot of that intensity in the eyes, right? The Human Dave, if it's easier for you to use the spray of Mephiston Red, that's totally fine. I mean, whatever you have on hand, you know, I think Bold Pyro Red is going to be the best quality red for building up red. But if you're going to be like doing a lot of models and you want to paint a bunch all at once and you don't have an airbrush, then you want to use a spray can, that's totally fine. Why does the glaze medium help? It adds a little bit more there's just something about it that makes the paint flow a little bit better. When you're painting the eyes like that. It also dries a little bit slower, which is nicer. Alright, because I kind of painted the combat patrol with the old fascio scheme. Might try and incorporate my monument hobby stuff into the future Blood Angel stuff. Yeah, man, I would just experiment and see what you like. That is what I would do. Alright, we're going to paint some pupils, and then we're going to move on to the hands.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Alright, let's see here. Let's see if we can't get in here. Sorry I'm being so quiet here. I'm just trying to get this eye to match. Alright, we got it. We got it, chat. Alright, let's paint his eyebrows. We're done with eyes. Woo! Alrighty. Those are some teeny tiny eyes. Let's give him some eyebrows. Come from a little bit of a Gosu, what's up, man? Eyebrows. Oh yeah, face looks so much better with eyebrows, chat. He looks like Dooku now. It's Dooku. Oh, nice, Gosu. I am also probably maybe gonna get myself some of that sweet, sweet Leviathan action. I'm not sure 100% yet, but he doesn't look surprised anymore. No, he is stern and wise and traveled. My man's got the knowledge. Thank you so much, Gosu. We've spent a good chunk of the stream on it, and we're just finishing it up right now. Yeah, Paint Liquor, I definitely want to do Deathwing. Is what I want to do, at least. This real quick. Some of this non-metallic metal started. Make it a little shiny over here. Oh, sorry, chat. Sorry about that. More traders. Whoa, now. Hold on. Thought we established with Jason, no less, that the Dark Angels are not actually traders. Thought this was known. Just because I am in fact Chaos J does not mean that every army that I touch is filled with chaos. The lion forgave his children. There are traitors to be had in the Dark Angels. They come from a corrupt planet. Ay, ay, ay. What am I ever going to do with you all? What paints am I using for the chain? Songer, this is just neutral gray, titanium white, in various mixes. This is that lazy man's whatchamacallit? Lazy man's non-metallic metal. Let's line up underneath the chain. Oh, I am way off cameras, guys. Sorry about that. I'm getting into it. Getting into the painting, and I'm drifting all over the place. What am I doing? Alright. Chain's looking good. Time to paint the hilt. We're going to paint up a hilt. We already got a little bit of gray on there. Oh my gosh. That's the reason the same mix that we used on the chain on the hilt here. And I forgot we're gonna need to go back and paint his hands. Oh my goodness. So much left to do. I thought we were almost done. Alright, so we're gonna darken this up. Hilt should not be super duper bright. I'm gonna hit the back side of the hilt here. hit the edge of this ring right there. Haha. The human. Nice quote. You know, as much as I disliked those movies, I definitely remember a lot of lines from them. I'm not sure what that says about me. But, you know, maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know. Yeah, that's one of the things I really liked about him as a character is he never felt like he was doing stuff for stupid or silly reasons. He always felt like he was a smart guy and he was, you know, he was doing bad things, but he was doing bad things because he felt betrayed by the Jedi Order, not because he was just like a bad guy, you know? And I generally dislike those sort of tropes where, you know, bad guy's gonna be bad because bad guy. Yeah, well, and the funny thing is, like, look at the newer movies and TV shows and stuff, and they're really like, was the Jedi Order actually like a great thing to begin with? So, you know, he's not. He was a Grey Knight until he wasn't. I'm gonna do a couple of ping highlights here. Boom, 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 boom. And we're gonna call that lightsaber hilt good, I think. And then what we got? Hands, and then base. The man is almost done. Let's zoom out just a touch, because we're not working on super duper fine detail stuff anymore. Let's paint some hands. Hand flesh. Some shadow flesh. Some yellow ochre. We gotta switch back to a different brush. And highlight on there. Put the highlights on here. Darken this up just a touch for these kind of like in between shadow and highlights. There. Edge of these fingers here. The inside pads of the knuckle and the palm. We're going to hit the back side of this hand with this color. These fingers with it as well. Fingers under here as well. Nice highlights. Underside of that thumb. Boom. I am feeling it. Alright, how about this? Get the inside of that figure on that side. That side. Alright. And then here is we're going to take some of that shadow flesh and burnt red that we used on the face, and we're going to glaze with that in the hands.
Of wet in my pants.
Finish this. We're going to take a look at chat. Alright. Hand's looking pretty good. Let's do this hand real quick. We'll get those fingers underneath. Warm. Back of the hand here. That, the wrist. Bam. That's looking good. We'll get some final highlights on this. Oh, let's see here. Is it bad to do old school Blood Angel scheme? Need to get your painting skills up? Paint them however you want. Mo's right. 100%. Yeah, but I want to keep getting better. Human, practicing is getting better. As long as you have a game plan and you follow the game plan and you're trying something new, even on with old recipes, that's all you got to do, man. That's all you got to do. Sorry, Walking Harder. Jedi Order had good people doing bad things, definitely. See you later, Paint Liquor. TBL Hobbies, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Time to drink. That's what happens. Water time. Welcome everybody. If you are new here, welcome to the Mom Unit Hobbies stream. My name is Jordan, also known as Baby J. We are the company that makes these great, fantastic, awesome paints called Acryl, which we use on stream every day to show you guys all the cool things you can do with them, answer your questions, and teach you how to paint cool stuff. Boom Hill RX, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome. And if you want to pick up any of the paints that we are talking about on stream, we've got a fantastic store that you can check out. Let me give you a quick link to that. That link right there will take you to the Monument Hobbies store where you can find all of these awesome paints. We are working on finishing up Dooku today. Count Dooku from Star Wars Shatterpoint. He is very much almost done. We just have the rest of the highlights on his hands to do, and then paint the base, and we're good, which is really exciting. Oh yeah, the BattleTech minis, TBL. That's all of Jason's stuff. That was a project that he's been working on over the course of the last month or so. He is actually out today, prepping for a move. So it's just me. I would be in our normal one-person chat, but we wanted to zoom in so I could paint the face and show everybody what's going on with that. Unfortunately, my punch-in doesn't work outside of this setup, so we gotta have a little bit of a weird setup just to make it work for today. So let's paint some hands. Some hands. We're gonna take tan flesh, yellow ochre, thin that down a bunch, and we're gonna glaze this on. Maybe a touch of shadow flesh, just balance it out a little bit, add some warmth back. And we're gonna hit just the upper part of the hand here. Remember, we're not going quite as bright as we did on the face. We just want to have these hands sticking out so that they are a nice bit of a focal point. We're going to hit the top part here. Hitting these final highlights here. Boom, boom. Spread across the back of the palm. And I think that that is a painted Dooku. Heck yeah. I love it. Let's paint the base. Songer, was there an option for Force Lightning on the right hand? Yes, there was. I generally do not do like weird lightning type effects on models that I have. It's just my preference to not do it that way. I've always preferred a model either after the attack or before the attack, not in the middle of like shooting lightning. It can be really cool. But I definitely like this version, I think, more. Because I think the other thing, too, is I didn't really want to do a ton of OSL. And if I had done the lightning hand, I would have probably had to do some. And I really like this, like, clean look that we've got for Dooku. So I didn't really want to mess around with doing too much else. You know what I'm going to do real quick? I am going to hit the top of this shoulder with a little bit of a highlight, or this arm over here. Because I just looked at it, and it's looking real dark. It needs some highlights. So we're going to do this to make sure that the highlights are about the same. This is what we have on the chest. And we're going to apply these. I'll even zoom in. We're going to apply these There we go. That looks way, way, way better. Yeah, that looks really nice. What I also want to do now So I'm probably going to balance that out with a highlight on the other hand. We're just going to make it darker. So we're going to hit it's still too bright. Well, shucks. We got to fix that. So we are going to do so. Mixing some black back in here. Thin it out. There we go. Boom. All right, now for the base. What kind of gray do we want to use? I know we want to do a burnt sienna into like a burnt orange tan color for this rocky bit at the bottom. Here, let me switch back to the single stream. Now that we're not doing crazy close-up stuff, let me get rid of this punch in. There we go. Back to normal. Throw this base coat on here real easy. And let's do some warm gray. Touch of neutral, or what? We're gonna do the warm grays. We're gonna do the warm grays. Let me grab the warm gray out somewhere. Right, warm gray. There we go. Yeah. And we are gonna grab warm gray. Enough. Nice smooth line. See if I can't get a little tighter in there. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. All right. Covering all the little nooks and crannies here as well. Because we're going to be doing some washes and stuff on this. I want to make sure we get those as clean as we can. Portman, how's it going? Thank you for the the follow. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a great day. All right. Got that. Ooh. We're gonna let that dry. We're gonna do another layer of this burnt sienna here.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Somebody likes us? What? Oh yeah, that makes sense. That was very delayed. Oh, get a nice little stretching. Ugh. All right. So next, we're gonna do a bit of a like an overbrush on this main stone area. The idea being that it's going to be really patchy and textured, kind of like a dry brush, but not quite. Got a lot, leaving a lot more paint on the brush when I do this. Kind of nice. All right. And we're going to leave the inside a little bit darker. We're going to get a nice solid bit of texture on this here. Yes, I like it. I like it. All right. We're going to kind of leave it at that for right now. And a touch here underneath this leg where that brush couldn't quite hit. We're going to do a little bit more stippling out to the edges. Remember, this is a bright, warm gray that I'm using for this. And I really want to get this worn and textured feel. Texture is the name of the game here. More texture and brightness I can get, the more that these darker layers that I'm going to apply will feel more natural. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take dark warm gray, wherever that is, dark warm gray, right there. First paint I touched. Look how perfect that is. We're going to thin this down a heck of a lot. Add some glaze and wash medium to it. And then what we're going to do, we're going to throw it down in the middle here. And then we're going to take a damp brush and we're going to kind of blend it out, feather it out by hand afterwards. And then we're going to keep building that up. So we're going to go for another layer. And this is going to sort of signify the shadow from Dooku standing on top of this white or whatever metal plating or whatever the heck he's on. Alright, so while that's drying, we are going to go for burnt orange. For our first bit of color, highlight on this rocky bit out here. And this is going to also be textured. So we're kind of stippling this as we go. We're going to hit the rocks, the top of the rocks, and we're going to make them look like the rest. Alright. We're going to take a little bit less thinned down version of that dark warm gray. We're going to apply it in the middle. And then we're going to blend it out. Do you like the pre-done bases or do you prefer blank canvas? I actually really like the pre-done bases. All of my Marvel stuff is on pre-done bases as well, and I really like them. It just gives you something to work off of. I'm really lazy when it comes to basing anyways, so having something that's already pre-done really lets me just kind of like relax and not think about it. Lumberjack Tim, what's up? How's it going? I hope you have had a wonderful afternoon. It's good to see you. Did you just arrive home, Tim? You like pre-made too? Yeah. Pre-made's good, man. Pre-made's good. Just moved a shed from one end of the yard to the other. That sounds like a pain in the butt. If I'm gonna admit to myself. That sounds awful. Alright. So we're gonna get ready. I'm actually gonna turn on the airbrush for this really quick. We're quick drying the base with a little bit of this airbrush air. Alright, so we're getting some brown wash with the glaze and wash medium. Mix it up. Thin it down a little bit with just a little bit of water. And we're going to throw this all over the base. And the nice thing about this wash is because we've done all that work to create those edge highlights, they're still going to come through when we do this wash. And what I'm doing here is I'm taking some of that wash away from the edges of the base. Yeah, Mo, that's a great idea too. I've definitely done that in the past with some of mine. So we got a little bit more of this burnt orange. We're going to stipple back on afterwards. And then we're going to bring that up
dollar bills, y'all.
another layer. Love minis, thanks for the bits. How is it going? Alright, so next we're going to add not yellow ochre, we want golden brown. We're going to mix the golden brown into the burnt orange. And get Bring that base up. A little bit more of the golden brown. Okay. Good. Let's see what this looks like with a nice black rim on it. Might come back and do a little bit more to this earthy color later. I'm thinking we can probably call it there for this model. We can take a look at some of the other ones that we've got on the table. Paint. This looks so much better when it's not on my phone. I think it probably would as well, if I'm being fair. Alright, we're going to actually add a little bit of shadow with the dark flesh. And a touch of the burnt sienna. We're going to thin it down. Add a touch of black brown to it. We're going to kind of put it in here in these corners. And we're going to blend it out. Put it back here as well. Also means we're going to put some of this on plating. People will definitely be standing on it. Stippling. In. A little bit more of it back in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of that golden yellow and we're just going to use it as highlight color right here in the middle. A couple of stippled highlights. And we're going to blend it out with a damp brush. All right. Boom. I loving it. Do a couple last edge highlights on this stone here real quick, or whatever this is supposed to be. And then this model will be 100% done. How would you do that? Man, Songer, that's really difficult to do. It doesn't mean it's impossible. It depends. So what you want to think about is where you can put bright, shiny, reflective lights. So there's a lot of little specular highlights that are happening when you look at a wet sidewalk, for instance, right? Where you're getting all those glints of reflective light. And you want to be able to put those at the right focal point of where your model is being viewed from. The tricky thing with this is most models are being viewed from multiple angles. So if you paint for one direction, the second direction isn't going to work usually, which is why it's really tricky to do that kind of stuff. If you have like a competition type piece where you're just doing, one specific viewing angle, then it's a lot easier to get that to work. So, but what I would do is I would pick out little points of like areas in the surface of the ground, and I would make them look reflective. I would use tons of reference as well, because you're going to need to be able to replicate what you see visually on the model. I know that's not like a great answer. The answer is really complicated, and I'm not even sure really how I would do it to a satisfactory level. We can definitely ask Jason for his thoughts when he's here next. But it's really difficult, right? I'm trying to think of ways that I would approach it to get it done. But part of the problem too is that when you're looking at like reflections, right? You're looking at something from this angle typically. So you're going to have all these like little pinpoint dots back in like here where you'd have like a really bright dot of reflection. Or you'd have a color that's reflecting from the surface. Because the other thing you have to think about too, Songer, is there's not actually water on the surface of what you're painting, right? There's no like puddles, there's none of that where you can put a lot of that reflection. So you kind of have to fake a lot of it. And the only way to fake it well is by putting, little specular bright highlights on the raised surface. And to bear in mind, this is not using like water effects or gloss varnish or anything. This is talking about like how to hand paint it, right? Because you could always just add water effects to your base, and that would be a pretty good approximation, right? Because it's going to do effectively the same thing. Gloss varnish would work too, because you'll get that same specular highlight from the gloss varnish. Yeah, that's a really difficult thing to do, and like I said, if I were to do it, I would only ever do it in a situation where I would have like one single viewing angle, because I think it's going to be virtually impossible to make it look good and convincing without having like one single focal point. Yeah, you have to force the perspective. Yeah, exactly. Marco Frazzoni, welcome to the chat. Hope you guys are having a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much for the raid. We are here painting some really cool Shatterpoint minis. We're just finishing up the last little bits and bobs of Count Dooku here on his base. Welcome everybody. We are Monument Hobbies. You can see with the sign. We are the manufacturer of Pro Acryl paints, which is the paints that we're using on stream to paint all these wonderful models. My name is Jordan, also known as Baby J, and I am the leader of this here stream for the day. How was the stream, Marco? Do you guys have a fun stream? What were you guys working on? Thank you for the follow, everyone.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Oh, is it your first stream? Oh my goodness.
Well, huzzah, huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my britches with delight.
Thank you so much. Sargogo, thank you for the follow. The Wither G, thank you for the follow.
Somebody likes us.
Welcome everybody. We are a super fun painting stream where we just like to hang out, paint some cool models,
Hey,
talk
somebody
about
likes
cool
us.
painting techniques and how to do stuff. Generally hang out. Treximal, thank you for the follow. Now the next question to everybody in chat, what is the next model that we're going to paint? I have 3 to choose from. We have Jango Fett, which is a super awesome model. I love this pose. And we have Magna Guard number 1 or Magna Guard number 2, which I'm very partial to this pose, actually. I think this is really cool. Magna Guards, T. Schmidt, Plaid. How's it going, Marco? Was it really your first stream? Congratulations on your first stream if it was. Thank you for the follow. Magna Guards, okay. Hearing a lot about Magna Guards in the chat.
Hey,
We can do
somebody
that.
likes us.
Do some purple reflections. I'm definitely painting up this squad first though. Excited to get some games in. Django, okay. We got 2 to 1. What is the word on the street, everybody? We've got Magna Guards, 1 and 2. Let me zoom out real quick for you guys. Or we got Jango Fett. Currently we have 2 votes to 1. Magna Guards, okay, right on. We got 3. 4? Okay. Unless we get a very large outpouring for Jango Fett, we're going to be doing some Magna Guards. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. We got 1 more. Can we get a couple more for Jango Fett? You were lost in the warp. Uh-oh. Jango Fett's coming back. What's the count now? We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost tied. We're gonna have to prime. Well, what we'll do is I'll prime all 3 of them. Vanessa, thank you so much. This guy was an absolute blast to paint. Painted him over the course of, a couple of hours yesterday and the stream today, so that would have been about 5 hours worth. But it is an absolute fantastic model. I love this pose. Everything that I've seen model-wise from these guys have been super fun. So we're going to keep on working on these guys. I'm actually going to try and pull this model off of here. Do I have a tool for that? Come on. I'm in a painting shop. We got to have tools for that somewhere. Yeah, this could work. See you later, Marco. Thanks for the raid. All right, I'm gonna get all this blue or all this tack off of the bottom of this. All right, so I'm gonna prime everything up, and we're gonna see what the verdict is at the end. I think we're currently 4 for Django and 5 for the Magna Guards. Can somebody confirm or deny whether or not that is in fact the case? I want to say it's either 4-5 or 5-5. A lot of chats in here going on. Get this glove on. A little small for my hand, but we're going to make it work. Got the airbrush. I'm going to prime these guys up. Ooh, I wonder. Magna Guard, okay. Alright. I hear ya. Ooh. We're going to give this a little bit of a quick clean, actually. Because this is feeling a bit gunked up. .45 Django. Clean the airbrush here real quick. Oop. Bucket of paint water. Magna Guard, please. Okay. Zargogo. Hear ya. It's sounding like Magna Guard is the play. Like I said, we're gonna prime everything up and we're gonna see what happens after that. But we are definitely going to get these guys started. Both the Magna Guard and Django are going to be a lot of non-metallic metal either way, so that'll be interesting to work on. Alright, hopefully did a good job of scrubbing out all the garbage in there. Put the cap back on. Let's see here. Oh. Well, for all of our newfound people to the chat, Oh, well, first off, remember, Walking Harder and everybody else, I'm painting these in very much traditional colors for Star Wars. I like my stuff to be all very much like the normal version. Yeah, that feels pretty good. But yeah, for everybody who's new, welcome. Hope you guys had a great stream. Anything fun get painted over there? I don't know what you guys were working on over there with Marco, but I hope it was a good time. Walking Harder, you would want us to do neon pink on anything. Doesn't matter what it is. The whole one day we'll do that will happen, but it is not today. Today is not the day for that. We are going to paint some super cool Star Wars stuff and chill for the remainder of stream. Might go over just a touch, although I have somebody here to let me out. Valandar the Red, I know it could take weeks for a job application to get a response, but I don't think I've ever been so anxious. Man, I have to admit, job applications are brutal. The whole waiting game part is just the worst. Because no news is not necessarily bad news. No news is not necessarily good news. Alright, we only got one more model to prime here, chat. We are coming down to the wire. I think Magna Guards are currently in the win, or in the lead. You guys want to change that up? You gotta do it quick. Alright, one last model. Now, is it just me? I don't know how many of you have looked at Magna Guards very much, but I cannot for the life of me tell if they're actually reflective metal or if they have painted metal. Because in all of the, like, so in like the Clone Wars, they don't necessarily look like they have reflective metal, but also it's a cartoon, so you're not going to be able to see that. It's hard to tell the one or two times that we've seen them in the Star Wars movies, and they look like they have like blue chipped painted metal on top of it. I wonder if anybody's got any good insight on this, because I have done my hardest to look, and I cannot for the life of me figure it out. So if anybody's got some wisdom, I would love to hear it. All right. Looks like we have not gotten any more votes for Django. So it looks like we are going with Magna Guards. Looks like white gray with purple lighting to me. Lightning. Yeah. Okay. Looks like metal, but with light, cool gray paint over the top. The paint is chipping to show the shiny metal at the edges. Yeah, that sounds about right. Woo! Okay, yeah, we're doing Magna Guards. Here it is. The chat has chosen. Gray paint, purple is from the weapon. Well, I think doing some like chipping effects could be fun anyways. So we might just do that. Let me clean out the airbrush real quick. And we will, I mean, if we're doing gray, I just airbrush these things gray. Especially with these guys, because they're droids. Getting in all those nooks and crannies is a pain in the butt. Valandar the Red, what are you working on? Very cool. You could do the lighting in neon pink. Well, I might do it in magenta. Instead of that, like, purpley color, I'll do it a little bit more magenta. That gets a little bit of pink in there for you. How about that, Mo? Would that be an acceptable alternative? Would it pass muster? You were speaking up for your neon pink homies. Alright. Well, let's get some gray. So the question is, what kind of gray do we want to go with? And let's pull up some Magna Guard reference. Disgrace Spear, thank you for the prime. Welcome back. Just grab my handy dandy keyboard over here, which I apparently didn't need. Let's see here. We got Magna Guards. I suppose if we pick the Magna Guard colors from the cartoon, it's actually probably more accurate
I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my
because
britches
of
with delight.
how... Yeah, but it looks like the internal structure is not painted, but it's like a dark gray. Let's start with like a dark gray. Where's my dark neutral gray? Here? Oh, that's cool black. I want that. Dark neutral gray. That's dark silver. You don't want that. It is definitely on the table here somewhere. Let me move you out of the way. Dark warm gray. I mean, that would work. Dark umber. Yeah, dark gray. Dark warm gray will work. Let's do it. To work for a good undercoat color for the cloak as well. Let's zoom back in a touch, folks. And we're gonna hit the ground as well. Okay, like that. That's a nice color. Great starting point. We can paint that brighter metallic over there. Yeah, it could be either chrome or it could be painted. It's so tough. Let's see here. Do we have any cool... Yeah, we'll just do like a... almost like a gray blue distressed metal. Okay, I got an idea in mind. I think it'll look good. Alright. We got those in there. And then I'm going to actually go with warm gray now. That's not warm gray. Oh my goodness. That was kind of scary. Tim, are you having fun with your projects? Sounds like you're having almost too much fun over there. Alright, so we put a once over on the whole model with that dark warm gray. Now we're going to hit the model with our warm gray. But this time we're just going to hit the areas we want to highlight. Okay. I'm liking that. It's nice and subtle. Oops, sorry. Off screen. All right. And I think I'm going to start with the cloaks first. Because the cloaks are pretty easy to paint. And it'll allow me to get to all the nooks and crannies of the cloak before I do much else. This part over here. Facing material colored. We're going to do the same thing on here. Killing a couple of birds with one stone. And we're gonna do our bright warm gray. Which is somewhere. I don't know where it is, but we're gonna find it. Bright warm gray. Here it is. Alright, so like with a lot of bright colors, this one we're probably going to add a little bit of glaze and wash medium to this mix, kind of balance it out a little bit so it doesn't get quite as chalky when we run it through the airbrush. We want this to be nice and soft. And we're gonna hit this one. I'm hitting the base as well, because that's going to need to be the same color anyways. Okay, great. Oh, gotta do this one too. Got his base ready to go. Clean out the airbrush and we're gonna paint some cloaks. A little bit of time before the end of the stream. About the inside of this airbrush. Hoping, my goal is to get all of these models, all 4 of these models done by the end of the week. That's my goal. That way I'll have one of my squads painted up, which I think is totally doable, because it's only Tuesday, and we got a fancy model done in about 5 hours. So we've got yo, this ball is the biggest challenge. It is a really cool model, Tim, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys paint them and see what the finished product looks like. Oh, by the way, T. Schmidt, are you here? Gotta throw Tim under the bus here real quick. Good old Tim deserves a spot right underneath the bus. My man Tim over here yesterday was asking for advice on your guys' challenge. I, knowing that you were in fact having a challenge between one another, did not give information. I told him explicitly that you needed to give permission before I was allowed to impart knowledge and advice. So if you would like to allow me to give Tim advice on your guys' challenge, I would be more than happy to give it. But he did ask for advice yesterday. I'm just saying, I am here to protect the integrity of your guys' challenge. So fear not. For I am the benevolent, chaotic Jordan. Give advice? Awesome. Great. Tim, hit me up. I will give you advice. And same goes for you too, T. Schmidt. If you want it. You guys' models look great. Be super fun. Look, I have no problem with the ask, and I wanted to give answer, but I also didn't want to have T. Schmidt be upset. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were not having like a more serious shindig. I hope I made that clear. I definitely didn't want to get in between that. Gosu, I want to see it. The challenges are always super fun. And you guys have been knocking it out of the park with your challenges lately. Holy crap. For all of our new members here to the stream, we run we have a super active Discord. Here, I'll link it for you guys. So we have a super active Discord. That is not how I link things. We have a super active Discord with like 2,500 people or something on it, and every month we do a painting challenge. It's not super fancy. It's not super like. There's no high roll. There's no like big winners or anything. But the goal is we give you a prompt every month, and the goal is to paint a model given that prompt. So some months it'll be last month was a limited palette, or last month was Mecha May. So you had to paint a mecha model with not using metallic metals. So that doesn't necessarily mean you had to use non-metallic metal, but you had to paint something that was metal, either painted metal or rusted out or whatever. We had some fantastic submissions for that. The month before, we did a limited color palette where we gave you a list of like 5 colors that you could use, and you could only paint the model in that palette. So for example, this model right here, which is the Morrigan from Journeyman Miniatures, was painted by me for that month. Because I was cruel and unusual and gave you guys a horribly restrictive palette. It was a great palette, very restrictive. I decided to hop in the ring and work on a model with you guys. So this was my model for that month, with a limited 5 colors that you could work with. So it's a super fun challenge. If you guys want to hop in the Discord and join us on any of our challenges for those months, you're more than welcome to do so. Just hop into the Discord and scroll down to the what is it? June 2013, which is where all the pinned post for all that stuff will be. Super fun, doesn't cost anything. It's just a fun thing for us all to do together and learn some new stuff. So the tricky part, Valandar, is that it was a cold color palette. Yeah, Tim, you didn't see the colors he picked. It was very restrictive. Valandar, you did not have access to white or black. You only had the 5 colors that I picked. So you could not use black and you could not use white. Okay. Alright. 4 and 3 color challenges are almost as easy. It depends on the colors that you choose for the palette. Except priming. Yeah, Xenophonetic. You could prime it in whatever color you want. I even allowed you to specifically paint stuff back down to the black or white and build up your colors from there. You just couldn't mix black or white into your mixes. They were specific paints. However, with all of our challenges, if you do not have the colors from Monument Hobbies, we do not require that you use them. The community will help, and we will also help find you some equivalent colors that'll be as close as we can. Like I said, it's not a super strict thing. It's just for fun. It's all about learning new things and challenging yourself as a painter. The colors, they were dark magenta, khaki, not blue black, dark blue, white blue, and I believe it was red gray. That was the palette that you had to work with. Yeah, Valandar, it's totally fine. As long as you have some paints to choose from, usually you can find something that's pretty close to equivalent. Yeah, I mean, feel free to paint something up with it. But when you're painting a whole model, it can be difficult. Dun, dun, dun. The bell is ringing, chat. The bell of 5 o'clock is ringing. It is time to shut off the stream, unfortunately. thank you so much, everybody, for being here. It's been a blast. You guys are awesome as always. We just linked the Discord up above. Make sure you guys hop in the Discord if you're not. It's a super fun place to hang out. Great place to get advice, learn new stuff. I will link the store. This is a link to the My Hobbies store where you can find all of the paints that we've been using on stream today to paint this guy up. Good old Count Dooku. And any of the other hobby supplies that we offer. We have our store finder. So if you want to find a local game store, it's FLGS, isn't it? FL. There we go. That's our store locator. You can find local game stores near you to find all of our product in store in a local place if there is one near you. Don't forget, we stream 5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We stream from 12 to 2. That'll be tomorrow. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Yeah, that's right. And we do that on Pacific time. And then Tuesday and Thursday, like today, we stream from 2 to 5. Unfortunately, today I can't stream a little bit longer because we have somebody graciously here letting me out. So I gotta get the heck out of here. Thanks so much for hanging out. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the raid. We're gonna go find somebody to raid and hang out with. And thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will see you guys tomorrow at 12.
Hey, somebody likes us.
Collider says the game is pretty fucking sweet. Yeah, man. It is. It really is. Talon, if you want to connect on Barbarian Tech, I got you.
Our Hadithan paint video did very well,
It
actually.
did.
Why? Now I can't take a selfie of myself with the... Okay, I'm doing it with the city. City. City.
OnePlus saves in the chat. He's also a Sork master. Monument Hobbies in the house with the bird.